Any other memorable stories
Oh
of a
yeah.
tenancy dispute that you've encountered and you don't mind sharing? Because this is really fun because we all like we hear all these, but sometimes we don't believe it. But you actually get to like experience it firsthand and to defend your client.
Well, a really good case, and it brings into this whole idea of like nowadays, social media is everywhere, right? People and in court and in law, evidence from social media is more relevant nowadays than ever before. Nobody would have, oh, where show me that picture of that event happening. Well, physically, I don't have photo albums anymore in which to show you a book. And oh, but there's a post. I posted it on Facebook when it happened. The amazing. So this touches into that plus residential tenancy. So I had a client who was a landlord, and they wanted to rent a place, not rent a place, take over a house so that their daughter can go closer to university.
Mm-hmm.
So it's for the daughter. That's legitimate. Okay, tenants get out. The tenant put up a bit of a fight. They had some things, but eventually they moved. And the tenant moved or found a rental place about 1 or 2 blocks away from the actual place they were renting. And for a period of a month, that tenant who left would come back to the house and dig around the garbage and take pictures of the garbage and would knock on the neighbors' doors and say, "Hey, did you ever notice anybody living in the house next door?" And get statements and pictures. And this is caught by the cameras that was installed, surveillance cameras on the house. The tenant took a little stethoscope type camera, came up to the front door, put it through the door hole, and took pictures of the inside of the house as part of his evidence in his case, saying that my client did not take back the house and did not occupy it for their family as stated, and therefore it's a bad faith rent eviction, and therefore they demand 1 year's worth of rent. So that was the claim. And so my client's daughter was going to university. I don't know about you, but when I was in university, I had all kinds of time. I studied at weird hours. I go to a library that was 24 hours. I had friends and we did study groups at the university. I come home at different times. My parents had a Chinese grocery store, a very typical Asian thing. But I knew when the rush hour was when all hands on deck, everybody needs to be home to help out with the rush hour. I knew when dinner's ready, if I wanted to be home for dinner. Otherwise, I'm free to organize my time. And being home, not being home, going studying. So that was the same thing with my client's daughter. Like, there's not 9 to 5 job. It's like you study and you come back in. My client's daughter didn't cook. Don't have disposable wrappers from Shoppers Drug Mart or Superstore. If she threw away garbage, and she ordered Uber Eats, Uber delivery, and when it's ordered, and then she collects all her garbage and goes back to mom and dad's on the weekends, dumps all the garbage at mom and dad's. One shot, done. No evidence of living there based on physical garbage evidence. The neighbors never saw her because it's different times and different hours. She didn't drive. She took transit, no car parked in front. So when it comes to evidence, oh my God, when we looked at those photo evidence of this lady with this long stick looking around, digging around and putting a camera through the door. The residential tenancy part, they're not the police. And
that sounds so creepy though. Like, and you can imagine your client is like the daughter as a girl living by herself in a house, and then there's someone snooping around, going through garbage, and putting a camera through the door.
And it didn't look friendly either.
Wow. So wouldn't that be like if they were able to produce that evidence, would that work? Because they are trespassing in order to get the evidence.
They already admitted it under oath. Yeah, that's me. I got the evidence. Yeah, but the thing is, what are you going to get? How much money are you going to get?
Right. But I don't know. Would that be argued that the evidence were taken illegally?
Well, they're not criminal lawyers. I mean, there's not a criminal tribunal.
Oh, okay.
Of evidence, they're not going to decide this is trespass. They're not.
Okay.
They're not a court. dealing with trespass. They're not experts on trespass. They can't give a law. They can't order fines and fees and payments based on trespass. Rent or no rent, pay or no rent.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is what it is. They took it. They will give it weight. It's proof of something. So, but we just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So we got social media posts and Instagram posts, and we got Uber Eats delivery orders, and who ordered it and delivered to this address, and we have receipts and monies, and we're able to fight off that on any evidence that
Oh.
and you go beyond the Call of Duty to get the stuff you needed to win, right? But for me, that was quite the story.